gonna be here long. I just finished a live on another topic, but I just want to talk about this TikTok situation for a second. By now, a lot of y'all know TikTok is back. Um, I was reading the reason why they allowed the server to be used again for TikTok is because they said, "What's up, Taran? What's up, Kanya?" They said that because of the assurance of Donald Trump, they're going to allow TikTok to keep using the server because Donald Trump claimed that he was going to come in tomorrow and allow them 90 days to find a buyer. But this is the thing. The government, Congress, went through all this back and forth last year to pass this law to ban TikTok because it was such a critical move. We just had to ban TikTok because of national security. It was a threat to national security. So we went through all this mumbo jumbo to pass this law and to have Biden sign this law saying that TikTok had until the 19th of January to find a buyer for their American-based business, or they'll be banned. So sometime last night, the server went down. TikTok was taken off the air in America. And here we are, less than 24 hours later, TikTok is back. These people are so phony, man. We need to stop being sheeps in this country. See, this is what I'm saying. They get us outraged on these issues and say some of the most dumb, stupid shit just to come back later and say, oh, we're going to give you an extension. Even though it's a law, even though we passed this into law, which kind of funny to me because I'm like, how can you change a law through executive order? And it's a law. That's a law. So we can change laws at the whim, on the whim now. You know, they tell you that Congress have the power to do this, Congress have the power to do that, and if they pass this law, it's up to the president to sign, and if the president veto it, they can carry it back to Congress and override that veto. If not, the president sign it, it'll be law. That's the law of the land. See, this is how much bullshit these laws are. We can change laws when we get ready to change laws. Just understand that. We can change laws anytime we get ready to change the laws. Just by saying certain things. Just understand that. Well, Kanye, I know a lot of people say there's nothing good about TikTok. I like TikTok. I don't see an issue with TikTok, but the problem is your boy Kanye, Donald Trump, he loves TikTok now. If y'all recall, during his first administration, he wanted to ban TikTok. But then you know what happened? Them old Chinese over there, they thought whispering in his ear about some money and some finances, and he reversed course just like that. What's up, C Murder? He just reversed course just like that. All of a sudden now, he's in favor of keeping TikTok. I don't want TikTok to go. TikTok is a great platform. Not only that, he started using TikTok and has so many followers on TikTok. You know, he's a numbers guy. You know, the bigger the numbers, the happier he is. So with all those followers on TikTok, it just changed his mind. I thought it did have an age restriction. I thought kids couldn't make accounts on TikTok. I thought the only way they could make an account, the parent had to make an account for them, or they had to have an account on the parent's name. Yeah, Mr. Docs. Yeah, Trump influenced the server, the guy who's the people who the company running the server to allow TikTok to use the server again. So they're back. They're back. Oh my God, man. It's amazing how our government works. You see how government works also? See, when they really want something to happen, they can make it happen. If they really want something to happen. See, if they really want to get rid of TikTok, they can get rid of TikTok. But they really want to keep TikTok, they can keep TikTok. You see what I'm saying? And they have nothing to do with threat to national security. Because that's the main reason why they wanted to get rid of TikTok. Because it's a threat to national security. But at the same time, we're going to give them 90 more days in order to find a buyer. Oh, I know. I don't know why I was thinking that it had an age restriction on it. Well, I agree with you, Kenyon. Certain kids should not be on. Actually, I agree to the point where there should be an age limit on all social media. And if you want my opinion, I think the age limit should be 16. No one under 16 should be on social media. To be honest, I'm just keeping it real. No one under 16 should be on social media. That's Facebook, IG, Twitter, any other platform, unless it's a kiddie platform. But yeah, our government is a joke. It's a joke. It's a real joke. You think it should be 18? Nah, I think 18 is a little too strong. I think 16 years old. I think 16-year-olds, they what's up, Nikki? I think 16-year-olds can pretty much handle themselves. Yeah, I think 16 should be a good age limit. But I just had to come back and talk about this because I thought it was so funny. I really did. And it's like we as Americans need to wake up and understand that we are nothing but pawns in this. We're nothing but pawns, and we're being used. We're being used at every turn. You know, one minute they're trying to scare us, telling us that, you know, the big bad booger man on TikTok is going to get all information. Yeah, they played us so bad. You're right, Nikki. The big bad booger man going to get us, and, you know, he's going to get all our information. He's going to use our information. Then all of a sudden now it's like, nah, you know, we'll give them 90 more days to find a buyer. You know, we're not going to worry about your personal information for 90 more days. Oh man, I don't know. I really don't. And Donald Trump is an opportunist. Donald Trump sees that there's money involved where he can make money off this. So he's not worried about a national threat because there's money to be made for him. See, that's how phony these people are. If there is money involved, they don't care about national threat, national security. That's how stupid they are. The government doesn't want to stop the dumbing down of the people, so they brought it back. I think all social media have a good point and a bad point to it, you know. And TikTok is no different. So I kind of agree with you. I can kind of agree with you, T, on that, but I kind of disagree too, because there is always a good side of social media and always a bad side. There's a dark side to everything, you know. To everything, there's a dark side to it. Unfortunately, you know, we live in a world where people like to do bad things to other people. You know, it's sad that, you know, you really can't really enjoy things because of the evilness of society. Speaking of Donald Trump, a lot of black people are mad at Snoop Dogg this morning. Well, I just talked about it, Teron. I just talked about that for 40 minutes, so I'm not gonna get back on that subject. Only thing I can say on that is, don't be mad. You know, there are more there are more serious issues in this country when it comes to black people that we should be mad about. And right now, that's not one of them. That's not one. Most definitely not one. You know, so, but I just, like I said, I just came back for a second just to speak on TikTok and just to show y'all how ridiculous this country is when it comes to laws, passing laws, and, you know, how quick they can turn those laws into something else at the drop of a dime when they are benefiting from. Not only that, it also shows you that politicians are going to do what's best for them. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about what's best for them in their career. Because that's another reason why TikTok came back so quick. Because a lot of Republican politicians are so afraid to go against Donald Trump. Even though they was dead set against TikTok 7 months ago when they passed this law, but all of a sudden now, I guarantee you those same politicians who was dead set against TikTok 7 months ago, they have nothing to say about what Donald Trump is doing now. Now, just let that sink in for a second. 7 months ago, they are running around the country having hearings telling everybody how TikTok was a threat to society. To security for the American people. And we had to do away with TikTok as long as they were being owned by ByteDance, which is pretty much, they said, controlled by the communist Chinese. We just had to do away with them. They ran around having hearings, getting all upset, yelling at each other, you know, saying that it's not right. You know, we shouldn't be having a communist country platform, you know, in America, a country that's gonna, you know, dox us and get all information and use our information. You know, we shouldn't have that country, you know, controlling a platform in America. They argued left and right for months about that, having all kind of hearings. But then Donald Trump comes along, comes back to power, and all of a sudden, we don't care. So that what turns this into a joke. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm happy that TikTok is back. Because like I said, I like TikTok. I'm on TikTok. So I'm happy. But the point is, this is a joke. This is a joke. Nothing but a joke. People are laughing at the American people and the American government at this time right now. Because the American government just played the American people. Just played the American people. Just let that sink in. They just played us. Is that they can't control a group of people who talk to each other and can't provide for themselves. There you go. There you go. They can't. And it's sad. It's sad. It's really sad. I feel for my brothers and my sisters out there, and we all need to wake up and understand that the government at this point in time is really failing the American people. And they're failing us because of their own greed and ambitions. It's not about us anymore. It's about them. It's about them. So we need to wake up and understand that. We really need to understand what's going on in this country. That's another reason why we need to stop fighting amongst ourselves and open our eyes to the people who are keeping us in this fighting stance day in and day out. Because it's not about us. It's not about us. It's about them and only them. Y'all sit back. They asked, Right, Nikki. It's us against them. Now, I want y'all to understand something. I'm gonna give you a prime example of what I'm talking about. They had, I forget his name. He's a nominee for the Treasury Secretary. And they asked him about the minimum wage, about helping people, helping Congress raise the minimum wage. You know what he said? I'm not going to quote him. I'm going to paraphrase it. But basically what he said was, that's not a good idea. That's a state issue, not a federal issue. Now, the federal minimum wage is $7.25. Now, the funny thing about that is, some of y'all might not remember this, but last month when they was pushing this CR in Congress, there was a raise. I forget exactly how much. I think it was between 3 to 6% raise for Congress in that CR. So let that sink in. This Republican nominee for Treasury is telling y'all are not worth having a raise. But at the same time, Congress, some people, not all people, what's up, Grandma Love? Some people in Congress, the majority of them, wanted to get themselves a raise because they felt like they needed more money to live off of. Now, where do that make sense at? Do that really make sense? You don't want to give me a raise, but you want to give yourself a raise. And that goes back to what Nikki said. It's us against them, not me against you. See, I'm telling y'all, man, this shit is crazy. This shit is crazy. Now, another thing that's funny about that is, the last time Congress had a raise was 2009. You know the last time minimum wage went up? 2009. But they felt like it was time for them to have a raise, but it wasn't time to raise the minimum wage. That's crazy. And then on top of that, they're making $174,000 a year. Now, I didn't do the math, but what is 725 times 40 times 52 weeks? I guarantee you it's nowhere near 174,000 a year. This is crazy, man. This is really crazy. I just sit back and I laugh at these people now because a lot of this stuff is just straight up funny now. It's a real clown show. You know, and a lot of people don't understand, if you don't push the minimum wage, a lot of these states are not going to push the minimum wage. I think Georgia is still under the minimum wage of $3.35 an hour. And I might be wrong, but I think Georgia minimum wage without the federal raising it is still $3.35 an hour. I have to look that up, but I think I'm right. So if the federal government doesn't push the minimum wage, a lot of these states are not going to push the minimum wage. And that's the purpose of the federal minimum wage, to make sure people are making a livable wage. And $7.25 is not a minimum wage, not a livable wage. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Well, that's a good point, T. But I do live in a state where minimum wage is $15 an hour. And to be honest, the cost of living is already high in Mass as it was. But I didn't do a study, but I don't think inflation increased that much after the minimum wage hit $15 an hour. Inflation didn't hit Mass until the pandemic. But prior to the pandemic, I don't think inflation really went up that much, and minimum wage went up to $15 an hour before the pandemic hit. The minimum wage in Pennsylvania is $7.25. See, they right there at the federal minimum wage. That's why I say, and you have to realize also, living in a state like Pennsylvania, and if the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, that is drastically low for Pennsylvania. You know, so we need to understand that federal minimum wage help a lot of people in the state at the state level. It really does. It really, really does. And a lot of these companies, yeah, they're gonna be greedy. You raise the minimum wage, they're gonna raise the prices to keep up to keep their profit at a certain margin. So, and they're just out of greed because they don't want to lose that margin. It's all about margins, profit margins. So, you know, it is what it is. But it's crazy though. It's really crazy. Yeah, they don't want to raise it, Grandma Love. They don't. You know, these corporations, you know, this is another thing also. These corporations are getting tax cuts, right? So you would think by them getting tax cuts, they'll be more acceptable to raising the minimum wage because they're getting tax cuts. But no, they're going to get those tax cuts, bank that money, and keep minimum wage at low level in order to maximize their profits. To keep their profits and their pocketbook full. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. Like Nikki said, it's us against them, not me against you. So fitting. Grandma Love, I'm going to tell you something. You might not have heard this story. I live in a 700 square feet apartment, and I pay $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month for a 700 square feet apartment. That's how bad it is in Mass. And I don't live in Boston. I live outside of Boston. Living in Boston, I'll be paying like $2,600 for this apartment. It's crazy. It is crazy. Rent is out of control in Mass. It's out of control. It is out of control. You know, and like I said, and the only reason, and to be honest with y'all, the only reason why my rent is at $2,000 right now, because I've been living here 7+ years. If I were to move back into this apartment, I'll be paying about $2,300. If I were to move out and move back in, about $2,300. That's how crazy it is around here. That's why when people start talking about how the homeless situation is in this country, that's the reason why so many people are homeless now. Because the rent is outrageous. You know, when I first moved up here in 2006, I left Georgia. And I left Georgia, I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment. No, it's a 3-bedroom apartment. And it had central air, central heating, and I was paying $600. $600 when I moved from Georgia. Now, that same apartment in Georgia today, about $1,800. It's crazy. Crazy. The banks are the new landlords. They bought. Yeah, the banks are buying everything. The banks and corporations are buying everything. So basically, corporate America and the banks own all this property now. They are renting all these houses, all these apartment complexes are in the control of banks and corporations. What's up, King Curl? And it's sad. It's really sad. You know, it's hard out there in these streets these days. It's really hard. You know, when I hear about people getting evicted, I ain't gonna lie. I've been to court a couple times. Shit. I'm not gonna lie. I work hard every day, try to make ends meet, try to live. Hey, it's hard. We all struggle. It's a struggle out there in this world. It is not because people, well, let me take that back before I say that. A lot of people are working hard and still struggling. And it's not because they're not trying. It's just that the cost of living and inflation is so high that it's very hard to keep up. It's very hard. One thing about Mass I like about Mass though, you can actually claim your rent on your taxes. So you can get that money back on your taxes. That's one thing I like about Mass. They allow you to claim your rent on your taxes. So that's a good thing. But yeah, it's hard out there. It's really hard. And I tell people all the time, we all are struggling. You're not the only one struggling. So don't feel bad. If you're out there trying, you're working 2 jobs and you're trying your best, don't feel bad because you're trying. Things can get better. Just keep your head up and keep it moving. Because we all got to make a living some kind of way. So, but yeah. But guys, I really appreciate y'all coming through once again for me. I just came on just to talk about TikTok was back. And I really appreciate the people who came through. T, Nikki, Grandma Love, Tyron, Super Toyota, Super Jim, Cayenne Pepper. I thank you guys for coming through, participating in the live stream. If y'all haven't hit that thumbs up, please hit that thumbs up for our brother, because brother need all the likes he can get. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys, man. And hey, King Curl, when are you going live again, man? I need to talk to you. I need to come over there and talk to you. I got a lot of free time today. You going live today? Tomorrow? Okay. I hit you tomorrow then. We'll talk tomorrow. All right, guys. I salute you all, man. Thank y'all for coming through and supporting the live stream. Until next time, y'all stay safe out there and keep your head up.